Hi all, good afternoon. I'm N. Lakshmi Dipti from Data Science Department. I'm dealing with the subject of data handling and visualization. And in today's topic, we are going to know details about modalities of data in the subject data handling and visualization. So first we will know what is modalities of data, how we are going to use this data. Whether your data is structured, unstructured or hybrid is crucial when evaluating your data sources. So when you are collecting your data or when you are going to use this data, it's very difficult to tell that data is structured, unstructured or hybrid data. At that time we use the concept of modalities of data. The nature of the data source, your vector retrieval systems uses shapes how the data should be managed and processed. This process of managing the data and getting processed of that particular data is called as modalities of data. And first we will see about unstructured data, how we are going to tell about unstructured data. Unstructured data encompasses a wide variety of information that does not adhere to a fixed structure or definition. As the name itself says that unstructured data is the data which is not having a particular structure and there is no fixed structure and there is no definition to that particular data. This data type is often characterized by its raw, unordered and noisy nature. The data which is present in unstructured data will always be unordered and in noisy nature. Examples of unstructured data include natural language data like text data, image data, audio data and video data. So this type of data, text data, image data, audio and video data, this data may not be in some structured format. There is no structure to that particular data. There is no fixed structure to that particular data and also there is no any definition or how to define the overall data in single statement. This is called as unstructured data. How the text data will be. Example, where you can see this text data. Social media posts, news articles, chart transcripts, product reviews and etc. And what are the formats you are going to find in this particular text data? Plain text, JSON files, XML files and all the HTML files and also in PDF, CSV where maybe in for particular text data. And some example data sets for this or finding some Kaggle websites and other different websites and some text classification and sentiment analysis on movie reviews. This type of data comes under text data, means reviews given by some particular persons about that particular movie. This type of data will comes under text data and this data may not be in some structured format. Image data. Image data means, example data means images obviously means for photographs, medical images, satellite imagery and generative AI created images. What are the formats? JPEG, PNG and TIFF. And some datasets are also example data. These are some example datasets where you can find the image data. This is the second type in unstructured data. And audio data. In audio data, speech recordings, music environment and sounds. The formats are WAV and MP3 where you can listen some songs and we can find different data sets for this urban sound classification and Hugging Face. In these websites you can find your audio data and video data. What are the example data sets? Means movie clips, surveillance footage and video streams. What are the typical formats for this video data is MP4, AVI and MOV and some datasets are available about this video data in some different websites. You can download these datasets and you can work on this particular datasets. And multitasking evaluation datasets. When we are retrieving some information and choosing the right dataset for evaluation is a key. As a rule, you should not always do this using your company's or product's own data. However, there are also instances when using a third-party dataset for evaluation is possible, preferably or even the only option. So for this type, we are using multitask evaluation datasets. In this also, the data may not be in some structured format. And some different dataset examples are GLUE, General Language Understanding Evaluations, and superglue. In this glue and superglue, there are some benchmark data sets where we are going to access that model and performs various NLP tasks. We are going to perform natural language processing tasks in these particular data sets. What is GLUE? General Language Understanding Evaluation. In GLUE, it contains NLP tasks like sentiment analysis, text classification, and textual entertainment. These tasks rely on semi-structured text input-output pairs rather than completely free from text. Some formats are JSON and CSV with text snippets and corresponding labels. These are some datasets using GLUE. General Language Understanding Evaluation, and superglue. In this superglue, there is more complex one compared to glue, and we are going to perform the language tasks like question answering and conference resolution, which are also based on semi-structured text. And these are also gives the text inputs and labels. Structured data. The second format where we are going to understand our data is structured data. All major enterprises today we are going to run all the data in structured formats. Structured data can be having predefined formats, organized categories, and also a fixed set of data fields, making it easier to start working with it. But even structured datasets may be of poor quality with many missing values or poor schema compliance. Here are some examples for structured data types and some links for example datasets and their formats and their considerations which are relevant to the type of the structured data. Means in structured data, every enterprises and every major enterprises today we are having structured data in it, and in structured data they are having their own predefined formats. They are going to arrange that particular data in organized format. But even though it is in structured data, there may be some missing values and also some duplicates also will arise in that particular structured data. Tabular data. In structured data, First one is tabular data. In tabular data, the examples of tabular data may be sales records, customer information, financial statements. And the formats may be CSV, Excel spreadsheets, SQL databases. And some datasets are Kaggle dataset and some machine learning datasets. Kaggle offers a wide range of structured datasets covering all the various domains. In Kaggle, we can find all the structured datasets which belongs to particular domains. Whatever the domain you want, you are going to work, you can download the dataset and you can work on it and you can fill all the missing values without any duplicates. UCI Machine Learning Repository. In UCI's repository provides many structured datasets for machine learning. This is about tabular data. What are the considerations? When working with tabular data, consider data quality, missing values, and the choice of columns or features relevant to your analysis. You may need to pre-process data and address issues such as normalization and encoding of categorical variables. And what are the systems using? Structured data often lives in relational database management systems like SQL and PostgreSQL or cloud-based solutions like AWS and RDS. In these particular places, we are using structured data, and what we are going to consider in structured data is the quality of that particular data, and you have to check whether any missing values are there in particular data. You can create any choice of your own columns or attributes for analyzing your data. This is the format which we can keep in structured data. And graph data. First one is tabular data and the second one is graph data. In graph data, what are the examples is social networks, organizational hierarchies, and knowledge graphs. What are the formats? Graph databases and also edge list or adjacency matrix representations comes under graph data. There are some datasets which are examples for graph data like SNAP, which offers a collection of real-world network datasets, and KONECT and provides a variety of network datasets for your particular research. And what are the considerations in this graph data? In graph data, consider the types of nodes, edges, and their attributes. Pay attention to graph algorithms for traversing, analyzing, and extracting insights from the graph structure. And what are the systems we are using here? Graph data is often stored in graph databases like Neo4j and ArrangeDB or Apollo, but it can also be represented using traditional RDBMS, whereas in tabular format we are using DBMS with specific schemas for relations. These are the considerations and systems for graph data. The third one is time series data. Example data means stock prices, weather measurements, sensor data. What are the formats? CSV, JSON, and time series databases. And some data sets are Federal Reserve Economic Data, which covers the economic and research data for various countries. And these countries includes USA, Germany, and Japan. These are time series data. What are the considerations in time series data? In time series data, it requires dealing with temporal accepts and seasonality, trends, and handling irregularities. It may also provide time-based futures engineering and modeling techniques like ARIMA or other sequential models like LSTM. And what are the systems we are using in this particular time series data? In time series data, we can store it in specialized time series databases. Example, timescale DB or traditional databases with timestamp columns. This is time series data. And spatial data. In spatial data, some examples of spatial data are geographic information, maps, GPS coordinates. And what are the formats you are finding? SHP means shape files, and GeoJSON and GPS coordinates in CSV. And what are the data sets? Natural earth data. This all comes under spatial data, which offers free vector and raster map data. And it also provides geospatial data for mapping and also for navigation. As we already know about our GPS maps, we are using for reaching our destinations in our mobiles or somewhere. If you are on the GPS in your mobiles, you can reach your destination by taking the help of map. This is all comes under spatial data. What are the considerations we are going to consider in spatial data? Spatial data often involves geographic analysis, mapping, and visualization. Understanding coordinate systems, geospatial libraries, and map projections is important. What are the systems we are using here? Spatial data can be stored in specialized geographic information systems, yes, or in also some databases with spatial extensions. Logs data. Some examples of different logs data may include system event logs that monitor traffic to an application, detect issues, and record errors causing the system to crash, or user behavior logs which track actions a user takes on a website or when signed into a device. And what are the formats we are finding in this log data? CLF or a custom text or binary file that contains the ordered format. It may be in timestamp patch and paste. And some log hub and a large collection of this different system logs data sets for AI-driven log and analytics. This is about this log data. What are the considerations in log data and how you are going to consider this as a log data? How long you want to save the log interactions and what you want to use them for. That is, understanding particular errors that occur in and defining typical behavior or key constraints for processing this data. For further details, you can see this website and learn about this log data. And systems, what are the systems we are using there? There are plenty of log management tools for referring this log data. Example is BetterStack, and which can be pipelined for the setting of allowing some real-time processing. And next one. This is about log data. Finally, this is about modalities of data, where we can see this structured data and unstructured data, and also the types of structured data. And there are some data collection methods, how you are going to collect this data and what are the measures you are going to take for collecting this data. Already you have known that what is a data. Data is a collection of facts, figures, objects, symbols, and events from different sources. Organizations collect data using various methods to make better decisions. Without data, it would be difficult for organizations to make appropriate decisions. So data is collected from different audience at various times. So for collecting data, we are having different methods. And by using these methods only, you are going to collect your data. For example, in an organization, they must collect the data and product demand based on product demand and customer preferences and competitors before launching a new product. If the data is not collected beforehand, the organization's newly launched product may fail for many reasons. Such demand we are going to arise if there is no collection of data. Means according to this example, we can say that before launching any product, you have to know about that product and how demand that product is having and how many customers are going to prefer that product and who are the competitors for the same product and who is going to launch that same product and who have been already launched that product, and you have to know all the details about this product. If you want to know these details, you are going to collect this data from some organizations who has used this project or who are going to launch this product before. Although the data is valuable asset for every organization, it does not serve any purpose until it is analyzed or processed to achieve the desired results. So until you collect the data and analyze and process this data, you can't achieve this desired results. And what are these collection methods? In these methods or techniques, the process for gathering information for research purpose. They can range from simple self-reported surveys to more complex quantitative or qualitative experiments. Some data collection methods may include surveys, interviews, observations, focus groups, experiments, and also secondary data analysis. The data which we have been collected from these methods can be analyzed and be processed and can be used for the further purpose, and you can make the study on this particular data, and you can finally create some conclusions about that particular subject, and you can conclude about that by doing some research on that particular data. And how you can understanding these data collection methods. Data collection methods have a variety of techniques and tools for gathering. You can gather qualitative data and quantitative data. These methods are integral to the data collection and ensure accurate and comprehensive data acquisition. Quantitative data collection methods involve systematic approaches such as conversely qualitative data collection methods focus on capturing. Obviously, qualitative means non-numerical data such as interviews, focus groups, and also observations, which we can observe deeply and understanding the attitudes, behaviors, and motivations. After collecting this data, you're going to combine the quantitative and qualitative data collection techniques, which can enrich from organizations, data sets, and get comprehensive insights into complex phenomena. And we can use this effective data utilization, accurate data collection tools and techniques, which enhances the accuracy and reliability of collected data, which can facilitating or informative for your taking some decision making and also for planning strategic plan. And what are the importance of these data collection methods? Data collection methods play a crucial role in research process as they determine the quality and accuracy of collected data. Some major importance of collection methods are, first one is quality and accuracy. The choice of data collection techniques directly impacts the quality and accuracy of the particular data. The choice what you are taking, what you are going to collect the data, it depends on your quality and accuracy of that particular data. Properly designed methods helps it ensure for data collection and error free and also getting some irrelevant data based on your research questions. And relevance, validity, and reliability. Effective data collection methods helps ensure that the data collected is relevant to your research and what are the objectives you have selected, and it is valid and it is also reliable, means consistent, and it is reproducible for your particular concept or subject. And bias reduction and representatives. If you choose your data collection carefully, and you can minimize the biases inherent in your research process, such as sampling and response bias. They can also aid in achieving and enhancing the findings of generalizability and informed decision making. Accurate and reliable data collection through appropriate methods provide a solid production for making informed decisions based on research findings. This is crucial for both academic research and also practical applications in various fields. Achievements of research objectives. See, by collecting this data, you should align with the research objectives to ensure that the collected data effectively addresses the research questions or hypothesis, and it is properly collected, and it facilitates the attainments of particular objectives which you have been selected for your data, and giving support and validity for your reliability. Validity and reliability are essential to research validity. The choice of data collection methods can either enhance or detract from the validity and reliability of research findings. Therefore, by selecting the data, you can ensure credibility of your research. The importance of data collection method can be overstated as they play a crucial role in the research studies, overall success and internal validity. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.